In any real democracy, you've got a fundamental right, the power to ask questions and actually get answers. Today, we're going to talk about the right to information. And trust me, it's not just some boring law on a dusty shelf, it is your key to holding power accountable. This quote from Benjamin Franklin, it absolutely nails it. He's saying that a healthy society isn't built on just, nodding along. No, it's built on our shared responsibility to ask the tough questions and demand answers. It's basically our civic duty. Okay, so it's a great idea, a noble duty, right? But how does that turn into something you can actually use, a real tool? Well, that's what we're diving into today. This is the story of the right that literally puts a lever of power into the hands of every single one of us. All right, first things first, let's really break down why this is so critical. Why is having access to information such a game changer for democracy? Think about it like this. If democracy is a living, breathing thing, then information is its lifeblood. It's what fuels everything. It's the oxygen we all need to breathe freely, without being choked by secrecy. When that flow of information gets cut off, well, the whole system just starts to suffocate. And it's not just a nice idea. Nelson Mandela put it perfectly. He said, information isn't some luxury or a privilege. It's a basic human right. It's the absolute foundation, the bedrock you need to build any kind of strong democratic institution. So, okay, it's a fundamental right. We get that. But what does that actually mean? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty and define what your right to know looks like in the real world. This is where the right to information, or RTI, officially comes into play. Basically, it's your legal right to get your hands on information that public authorities are holding. And the core idea behind it is, honestly, it's revolutionary. The default setting is maximum disclosure. Openness is the rule, and secrecy has to be the rare exception. Now, this right didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It has this incredible global history, starting way back in 1766 in Sweden, all the way to the UN Declaration of Human Rights. And Nepal's role here is super important for the region. It was the very first SAARC country to write this right into its constitution back in 2047 BS, and then made it official with the RTI Act in 2064 BS. And that brings us right up to today. This isn't some vague idea anymore. It's a solid constitutional promise. Right there in Article 27 of Nepal's constitution, it says that every single citizen has the right to ask for and get information on anything that's of public concern. It's right there in black and white. Okay, so having a right on paper is great, but how do you actually use it? How do you put it into action? Well, let's open up the toolkit and see how you can exercise this power for yourself. The process is actually designed to be pretty straightforward. First, you submit an application to the information officer. They're supposed to get back to you within 15 days. But, and this is super important, if it's about someone's life or safety, that response time drops to just 24 hours. And what if they say no? Well, you don't just hit a brick wall. There's a clear appeals process you can follow all the way up to the National Information Commission. And get this, the law isn't just for us on the outside looking in. It also protects people on the inside. We're talking about whistleblowers, right? The folks who see wrongdoing and want to speak up. The law actually gives them legal protection so they can expose things like corruption without having to fear they'll lose their jobs over it. That's huge. So, we've got this powerful right, and we've got a toolkit to use it. But what actually happens when people start using it? Why does having an informed public matter so much? Well, the impact is absolutely massive. It really boils down to a handful of game-changing benefits for all of society. And these aren't just vague concepts either. We're talking about real, tangible ways that this right strengthens our democracy and puts power right back where it belongs, with you. Just look at this list. It's all connected. It promotes transparency, which empowers us, the citizens. That empowerment makes it one of the best tools we have to fight corruption. And when people are informed, guess what? They participate more, they demand better public services, and they support the journalists who are out there digging for the truth on our behalf. It's a chain reaction for good. Okay, but if this law is so great, why isn't everything perfect? That's a fair question. The truth is, having a law on the books is just the beginning. Let's talk about the real-world challenges, the obstacles that stand in the way of true openness. And these challenges are no joke. You've got this deep-rooted bureaucratic resistance, this old habit of secrecy. The solution? We need to build a new culture of transparency. Then there's the fact that a lot of people just don't even know this right exists. So we need massive awareness campaigns. You've also got practical problems like messy record keeping. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, people are afraid to ask questions for fear of retaliation. We absolutely have to protect them. So, tackling these obstacles is about more than just a few successful information requests. It's about a much bigger goal. This whole thing is about building a direct path toward total transparency in government. And what do we mean by transparency? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's when the doors to public institutions are basically thrown wide open. It's when their decisions and operations are clear, easy to access, and most importantly, easy for all of us to understand. And here's the real magic, the crucial link. The right to information and transparency have this amazing feedback loop. Your right to ask for information forces institutions to be more transparent. And the more transparent they become, the easier it is for you to exercise that right. See? One feeds the other, and together they start tearing down those old walls of secrecy. You know, it all boils down to that old saying, sunshine is the best disinfectant. It's such a perfect metaphor. When you shine a bright light on how government works, things like corruption and just plain bad governance, they can't survive. Openness is literally the cure. So there you have it. The right exists. The tools are available to you. The path forward to a better, more transparent government is clear. Really, there's only one question left to answer, and it's for you to think about. What will you ask?